Thank you very much. Thank you, the Commission, for inviting me to speak on behalf of the EIT. Since Professor Bonacorsi finished with quoting Marcel Proust, I start saying that we will be proud if, looking back at the history of the European Institute of Innovation and Technology, we will be called an enfant terrible of the era. EIT was founded in 2008 with big expectations under turbulent times when Lehman Brothers were announced bankrupt, and with only €300 million budget for 4 years. What can you do if you have such limited resources and such a time constraints with everybody stretching the negative visions for Europe and the world? Well, you need to be entrepreneurial. And European Institute of Innovation and Technology focuses on this very important and missing link, bridging sky blue research, open innovation, development, technology, and markets and societies. We focus on helping mobilize the tiny percentage of researchers, of people working in large corporations, people in financial industries, and help them get together to create value. Many people in Europe and beyond believe that innovation, research is enough to create growth and jobs. When we look closely, there is always an important immigrant in the US very often, or an ambitious Chinese. We can call them both entrepreneurs who take an idea to the market and are able to scale it up, go global. EIT wants to create opportunities for these special people in Europe and beyond to come to Europe and get things done. You can recognize the little triangle of higher education, business, research and technology from the presentation of Sir Keith Onion. And indeed, in our spirit, we have taken this image from one of our partners, one of our community of knowledge and innovation. And what we added was that entrepreneurship education, an entrepreneur is in the driving seat, is somebody who will catalyze the chain and integrate the knowledge triangle. Well, Europe has an excellent history, and let me quote Robert Bosch, who in 1918, Robert Bosch was the inventor of the spark plug and the founder of a large enterprise, who said that entrepreneurship is about quality of products, staff development, customer support, keeping contacts and networks, and win conclusions of business deals. Well, this couldn't be more true today as it was in 1918, yet entrepreneurship a generation ago still was a dirty word in Sweden and in Poland, where I come from, if you called a person to be an entrepreneur. This changes very much with the current generation, both in Sweden and Poland and many other countries, where younger people, either out of necessity or seeing a fashion for starting their own companies, change the mentality. They want to become employers, not employees upon graduation. But the challenge is how to not only motivate the kids, but how to educate them and give them opportunities to do it. From the very beginning, we wanted, as the governing board of the EIT, set up a new agenda at the EU level and bring the three corners, the researchers, the corporate partners, and the professors educating science and technology students to be interested in organizing limited resources and getting unprecedented results over a short period of time. And being entrepreneurial, we had a project to do which organized our activities. This was the establishment of the knowledge and innovation communities as highly integrated, creative and excellence-driven autonomous partnerships under the leadership of a CEO, internationally distributed but thematically convergent partners driven to solve societal grand challenges. I emphasize this because at a time people said, okay, you cannot find this five-legged animal. It's not possible in Europe. So the good news is that the KICs have been established and they operate. The first three focused on climate, energy, and future information and communication society. Why is this so important that they are highly integrated? Well, Europe has an excellent track record in building capacity, in coordinating activities, in networking. What we wanted them to compete and collaborate. This is why being integrated was important. We wanted them to be excellence-driven, have the right balance between basic and applied research, but we wanted them also to be to understand the market and be driven, be led by a chief executive officer. We wanted them to be internationally distributed to get the European angle, the cross-border collaboration, but we wanted them to be thematically convergent to consolidate the fragmented landscape of European research and innovation. Well, the first three KICs covered almost the whole Europe, and the bottom-up approach met the very open criteria of the top-down call for proposals, where we said that only 3 countries need to be involved in a community, and yet many of them reached out to the member states, which are less advanced research-wise, and tried to integrate them, developing new models of collaboration where research and innovation can be implemented. Altogether, we have 16 hotspots in Europe where we hope that the spillover effect will help diffuse the knowledge, the tacit knowledge developed in the communities. So what the EIT fosters then is the cross-KIC agenda. We let them operate as a very autonomous bodies, and we want to integrate them at the same time and compete for talent with the EIT labeled degree programs. The EIT label is a label which advocates or supplements the technical curricula developed with industry partners, supplement with creativity, problem solving, entrepreneurship skills, business knowledge, ability to communicate, and leadership skills to meet the challenges for the next generation of European entrepreneurs. We want to foster the EIT alumni and risk culture in Europe. In Krakow, under the Polish presidency in October last year, we had the first youth and entrepreneurship conference when we for the first time saw our alumni. The quality of talent was amazing. There was only a handful of them, but we hope to achieve over 25,000 alumni within the coming years and over 10,000 PhD alumni over the next financial perspective. The recognition to best KIC-driven ventures through the EIT Entrepreneurship Award, which will be first granted in February, in 3 weeks' time, highlights the companies coming out of KICs. We focus very much on getting things done, and we very much want the results to be achieved quickly. We promote risk-taking and failure and learning from mistakes. And finally, the Light Tower, which is the EIT roundtable of top entrepreneurs. This is to create culture, to show role models, to show entrepreneurs and entrepreneurial teams who bridge academia with markets and societies. The EIT contributes to the Horizon 2020 in a number of ways. First of all, by addressing societal challenges, integrating the knowledge triangle. Its mission and objectives are defined in Horizon 2020. However, the EIT will keep its autonomy in terms of governance and some derogations from the financial regulations. What is important is that the proposal of the European Commission to the Parliament and the Council called for a substantial increase of budget from 300 million 4 years ago. We hope to get 2.8 billion inflation adjusted over almost 3.2 billion for the next financial perspective. This is an impressive increase, and this is because we have our objectives, clear objectives that we want to achieve. First is to consolidate the existing KICs. Setting up the five-legged animals was difficult and I hope successful, and we need to pay attention to help them now achieve the results that we hoped for. We need to invest in new KICs, and in a moment I will quote the upcoming themes. Third, we need to enhance the EIT as an institution, because after all, the EIT does not want and never wanted to be a funding agency or an administrator. We had a very clear understanding that as enfant terrible, we want to add value by building the European angle of the knowledge triangle. And finally, we want to enhance our impact proposing the simplification and new monitoring systems, which is extremely difficult to do. But just to give you an example of what we have already achieved is that the first call for KICs was 9 pages long, and the call for proposals was limited to 40 pages. This is true breakthrough in administering public money. The upcoming themes that we want to propose will be in the new KICs. There will be 6 new KICs planned in 2 waves. The first wave in 2014, food for future, raw materials and healthy living and active aging. And in 1918, added value manufacturing, smart and secure cities and urban mobility. I should mention that having a budget as we had, we needed to leverage it, and we fund only up to 25% of the KICs budget, which means that if we really achieve the 3 billion euro leverage, this will mean 12 billion for the 7 years, which already makes us a substantial institution, hopefully. Let me take this opportunity to invite you to our to our conference on good practices and learnings. We failed many times, and I hope that we learned, both KICs and us, from the mistakes. And this is fine. There's nothing wrong with it. It's only wrong if you repeat the same mistakes again and again. But we want openly to share with other stakeholders what were the challenges, what were the difficulties. And from my perspective, I believe that developing a good concept is easy. Bringing it to the market, it's not so difficult. But realization, change management, leadership is key. And I understand that this human factor for all of us will be key if we want to implement the ERA in the coming years. Well, so what we do, we lead, we learn, and we leverage. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Tataj. You started by calling EIT an enfant terrible. I would say that since this is a meeting, this is a session on the rationale of ERA and for ERA, I would say that the best rationale, the best convincing reason why we should have ERA is the success of the initiatives already taken. EIT is among these initiatives, as it is ERC, etc., and I'm very glad to hear that things are moving in the right direction. Thank you very much. The next speaker is Professor. No, he's not professor. Vice President Philips, Mr. Jan van den Biesen, who represents today Business Europe.